Welcome to the Lions Roar podcast. I'm Dr. David Warren, your host for the podcast, where we talk about everything related to school at Hidden Treasures Preschool and Calvary Baptist Academy. Today's episode, we're going to spend some time talking about athletics, and in particular, we're going to talk to some students that either are or are headed to play athletics at the collegiate level and talk a little bit about their experiences in high school and how that projected them towards playing in college and just kind of hearing from them. And we'll also talk a little bit to our athletic director here in a few minutes and get his perspective on athletics at Calvary and what makes them different. And even talk a little bit about our movement from the Michigan Association of Christian Schools and their athletic department over to the Michigan High School Athletic Association and how that change has affected athletics at Calvary over the past number of years. So we got a lot to talk about, so let's dive right in. Let me introduce our guests here today. To my right, first of all, we have a senior who just graduated and is now an alumnus. We have Sadie Day, and so welcome, Sadie. And then next to her is Isla Tomko, and Isla, you graduated, a year ago now? Mm-hmm. So you're just the old maid here, I guess, right? So it's been so long since you walked the halls of Calvary. And then to my left is Braden Schwarzkopf, again, another graduate this year. And each of them has a story, and so we're going to hear a little bit about their stories and about what they're going to be doing or are doing here in the future. So, Sadie, let me start with you. Tell me a little bit about your plans for the fall. Where are you going, and what are you doing?
I'm headed off to Bob Jones in South Carolina, and I'm going to go in and play basketball there, and I'm going to start off in studying kinesiology.
Kinesiology. All right. Mm-hmm. What is kinesiology?
It's basically the study of like movements and how your body works. And I hope to one day eventually either be a physical therapist or like sports rehab.
Very cool. So it's in the sporting world even still. And Sadie, tell me a little bit about your athletic career at Calvary. Tell me what sports you played and kind of what years and what that looked like for you.
I started basketball in 6th grade, and then our soccer season kind of cut off because of COVID and stuff. So I didn't really
big COVID.
have much of a 6th grade, somewhat 7th grade season too. But I played basketball and soccer, and I played a little bit of volleyball for a couple years. And then, so I had junior high, and then I went to varsity in 8th grade.
Yeah. And so Sadie, you had quite the career at Calvary. So tell me a little bit about some of the accomplishments. I know the most recent, the soccer team just won a district championship. Mm-hmm. That was their 4th district championship in a row. Is that right?
Yes.
Is it
yep,
four in a row? I knew it was a number. I didn't remember how many consecutively, but 4 district championships in a row. And tell me a little bit about your accomplishments there. You were named to what teams this year? I don't have it all memorized. I probably could have notes and just like read it off, but so you're not bragging. I'm asking.
Okay. So for soccer, I got first team All-State for Division 4.
Yeah.
For basketball, I got BCAM's best in Division 4, which is basically first team.
What does BCAM stand for?
It's like the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. So basically all the coaches kind of vote in and go off of what they think and stuff. And then I got Detroit Free Press. I think that was honorable mention.
Okay, so lots of recognitions for both basketball and soccer. That's pretty cool. And those all-state awards are pretty rare, because that means that you were recognized not just in the district and not even just in our area, but that those recognitions were made statewide. So pretty exciting career there. And now you're going to take your skills and play basketball at the collegiate level. Isla, tell us a little bit. It's been some time now. Tell me about your athletic career at Calvary.
Okay, at Calvary, I played volleyball, basketball, and soccer almost every single year, all 3 of them, since 7th grade. I took a couple years off of basketball because I had a couple shoulder surgeries.
Yeah.
But, I played all 3 all the way through.
Okay.
Which is so fun.
And tell me a little bit about your accomplishments there, both team-wise and individually.
Okay, so we, as Sadie kind of mentioned, the soccer team.
Yeah.
I think I was there for 3.
So you're part of 3 of those district championships.
3 district championships. My 8th grade and 9th grade years, I think I made all district and all region for that one. And then my sophomore year is the first year I made first team All-State. My junior year, I think I made second team All-State for soccer, and then I didn't get my senior season. But it's okay.
Yeah, it was injury, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the shoulder and then...
Yeah, my darn labrum.
Well, hopefully that's behind you and we can...
Fingers crossed.
Let's not return to that. But very cool, very exciting. And now you're playing soccer at Bob Jones University.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about your career there. It's been one season.
It's been one season. Well, technically half. I did break my foot halfway through the season, but I scored 2 goals this past season, which was very, very fun. And we won nationals, which was such a cool experience. And I'm so proud of our team. We're hoping to do it again. But yeah, it was so much fun.
That's the NCCAA, the National Christian College Association of America. So very cool. Very exciting. Mm-hmm. Braden, you tell me a little bit about your sports career at Calvary. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I played basketball and soccer 7th through 12th grade. 8th grade, I played varsity basketball. And soccer, I didn't start playing varsity until about 9th grade.
Okay.
So as I said, I played varsity for 5 years, and soccer, I played for 4 years varsity. So
okay. And what are some of the accomplishments that you would say kind of stand out to you?
Yeah. So I made a dream team my junior year.
It's the Midland Daily News?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's an all-area team, basically?
Yeah. So cool. Freshman and sophomore year, I made district and regional for basketball.
Okay.
And then for soccer, I don't think I made anything. Okay. Not my best sport.
You didn't have to tell us, you know.
Yeah.
We're talking about highlights.
But junior and senior year, I got district and regional for soccer. And then basketball, I got Detroit Free Press honorable mention, BCAM Best honorable mention, and 2 others that I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah.
Very cool. Do you guys believe I played basketball and soccer at Calvary Baptist Academy?
What are your highlights?
My highlights? My highlights, let's see. Well, first of all, I came to Calvary as a 10th grader. So I played football until I came to Calvary. I played football and baseball. And I came to Calvary, and they convinced me to go play soccer. So the very first soccer thing I ever did at Calvary, we went to a tournament at Camp Kobiak. And it was, like a little round robin tournament or whatever. And Coach V was the coach of the soccer team. And Coach V put me in the goal. Like I was goalie. Like I'm 5'0". Like I think, and it was terrible. Like it was, so my highlight was a low light. Like they scored all over me. I was like, Coach, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not playing goalie. So I quickly moved into the midfield and then played forward my senior year. And it was a lot better than, I was not goalie material. But I had more slide tackles in one game than the rest of the team had the whole season because I came from football and so wanted to have contact and stuff. But yeah, so I remember, it's interesting because, that was, I graduated in 1992, but I still remember traveling to and from games and the fun we had on the bus trips and such. And I remember moments that we played in I remember we played in a snowstorm out at the soccer. We actually played at the soccer complex for that game. They kept having to clear the lines because there was snow on the ground. Kept thinking, don't kick it to me. Don't kick it to me. It was like so cold. You didn't even want to touch the ball. I remember playing in the rain and the mud where the ball would stop in front of the goalie because there was a puddle. Like it was so much rain. I remember missing the shot in our last game I ever played my senior year, had a breakaway and kicked it over the goal. Like, yikes. The field goal kind of thing. And so I still remember that. Like, so you remember those things. My senior year, we won the state championship in basketball. So that was pretty exciting, but I wasn't on the team. I played to my junior year. My junior year, I got pancreatitis. I was hospitalized and never went back to play basketball. I wasn't very good anyway. We had a really good team. So I figured, I'm not going to play that much. So I actually announced all of our games on MCTV. They were all broadcast on local TV here in the community. And so if you go back and watch the video, it's Mr. Kopis, a couple of our students' father, Mr. Kopis and myself, Craig Kopis, were the announcers for every game. And I wasn't great, but it was fun. And we did all right. And we introduced the lineups and did the color commentary and everything. So now when everybody watches those games, we still have VHS of that. So my career didn't take me to the collegiate level at all. I played intramural sports in college, and I was the leading scorer of my soccer team for like 1 week because I scored the first week off of a cross. A cross hit me on the side and went in the goal. And so in the newspaper, the Collegiate, listed the leading scorers. I was on the list for the first week because I had 1 goal. That was my only goal of the season. So there we go. Talking about me is done because that's my whole entire athletic career right there, all summed up. But you guys are going to play at the college level, or in your case, Isla, you've had a season under your belt a little bit. Let me ask you this: as you looked ahead and decided that it was something you would like to do, is play collegiately, and in your story still to be written there, but just getting to that level where you're able to play at the college level doesn't just happen. What would you say to some students who's maybe in junior high or entering high school and they're saying, I think I'd like to play soccer, I'd like to play basketball, even volley, whatever their sport is. I'd like to play this after high school at the college level. What are some things you think are necessary? Obviously, there's a certain amount of God-given talent that God gives you that you have to be able to be athletic enough to play well and that kind of a thing. But it's not all just that. It's not just athletic ability. That's part of it, but it's what you do with that ability. So what are some things you would say that you did or had to do or would recommend some other students coming behind you? If you want to play at the collegiate level, here's some things I've learned that are helpful in that kind of journey to get there. So Isla, you've been in college for a year. I'll start with you.
So I would say the biggest thing, as I said before, I played all 3 sports, which is such a huge blessing, but also it can hurt you a little bit.
Sure.
Because when I decided that when you decide to play college sports, you're committing to 1 sport. And so instead of all of those years, in some athletes' cases, being dedicated to that 1 sport, mine was divided between 3.
Yep.
So when I got my summer packet and it's so much technical and so much weightlifting, that was a really big surprise to me because that's just something that I didn't do because I didn't have time.
Yeah.
So I would say a huge thing to focus on is once you pick your sport, I would hope that if you're hoping to play in college, I know you have athletic ability. And so I think the natural athleticism can carry you a bit, but something that's going to set you apart is strength training is huge. And I don't think that's talked about enough. But weightlifting is a really, really big part of every single sport.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you even look at the collegiate level, NCAA sports and across the board. It's more and more you see the recognition of the strength coaches and the training coaches and the fact that teams that excel at the collegiate level have better programs and better strength training and such. And how many even athletes that are maybe at much bigger programs than like Calvary would have. You talk about the IMG academies or these kind of places and such, that so many students that even enter those and have no background in strength training, and how much, because that's not the skill that you're using on the field. Right. It's the machine, your body, being prepared to do those things. So that's interesting. And I know at Calvary we offer that now more through the summer and through the week, give you opportunities to use the limited gym space that we have, but getting students together and giving them some exercises to grow in that.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
So you're still doing that at the collegiate level and even more.
Yes. I mean, we're getting up at 6 a.m. for lift 3 times a week, and so it's pretty important.
So student athletes out there that are watching this, hey, when those invites come to use the gym and to do those exercises and those drills that seemingly, I just want to shoot the basketballs, or I just want to dribble or whatever, that strength training is equally important. You're saying
it makes a huge difference.
Okay, what else would you say?
I would also say technical is huge. That's so big. Your footwork if it's soccer, your dribbling if it's basketball.
Back to the basics.
Yes. And so your technical is really what's going to set you apart, because when you get to the collegiate level, everyone is athletic. And so you can't rely on your natural speed or your natural athletic ability as much. And so you have to have something that will set you apart. And if you can take control over whatever ball that is and own it when it's at your feet or in your hands, that's really, really, really going to set you apart and be a huge advantage.
That's great. Sadie, what would you say are some things that you would recommend to somebody that wanted to get better at their sport and be prepared for the next level that you've kind of learned that were helpful for you?
I think the first thing is like picking out a sport that you really do love and appreciate, because I mean, if you want to play college and you don't even really like the sport that much, like I don't think it's going to go too well for you. So I think you really have to be motivated and driven to always constantly work hard. And
I think I get what you're saying. I think sometimes we play sports because we enjoy the atmosphere, the people, we enjoy the social part of it, the camaraderie. That's different from loving the sport itself. And that probably separates some people that want to go and continue to play it after high school and such. So it's not that, they don't enjoy, I enjoy playing basketball, but I'm not committed to it to the level that someone that's a student athlete has to be. So I think I get what you're saying. It's not that, hey, if you're not that committed, you shouldn't play at all. But if you want to make it to the next level, you need to have a pretty dedicated,
a deeper love for it,
passion for the sport that translates. That's good. What else would you say?
I think definitely getting ahead of workouts and like not procrastinating and waiting till the end of the week when all your workouts are due. Like, I know I can't say I haven't done that before, but and then it ends up hurting you in the long run, because then you have to like make up stuff and whatnot. So I guess just one step ahead of everything and really working hard. Okay.
Braden, how about you? What would you say are some of the things that would be a benefit to a student athlete wanting to progress?
Yeah, so to piggyback off of what they said, I would say preparation before practices and games is one of the biggest things you can do. Stretching helps you stay away from injuries. And then
maybe that's what Isla's deal is.
Yeah, maybe you got to stretch more.
I'll work on that.
And also the food that you eat.
Okay.
That plays a big part as well, because having a bunch of fried food, I mean, it's kind of hypocritical for me right now, but all that fried food, it causes a buttload of inflammation to the body, and it makes it really hard to recover after a game or after a practice. And so I would say that, and then staying committed to the sport. Just like they said, even when you don't want to participate in the practice or go to the conditioning, it's really important to make sure that you go to that so you can prepare for the games.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the time spent outside of, the regular season and opportunities to play the sport that you're looking to develop, outside of just the normal season. What do those opportunities look like, and how much do you think they're beneficial or not beneficial? Is there a right amount, or is there sometimes where it's too much? What is the balance there? What would you guys say as you've experienced? Because, even from a young age, there's opportunities for travel soccer or travel basketball. And then as you get older, there's AAU or all different levels of basketball or soccer or volley, whatever it is. Baseball even, there's all this travel stuff and such. What is the value of that? And then where do you, in your own kind of thinking and your observation, even for your own family, where's kind of that line where it's helpful or where it's too much? And how do you figure out that balance?
So I would say, 2 hours a day in the gym is good. You don't want to tire yourself out so much to where, your brain isn't aware enough to actually progress in the sport that you're playing. And rest helps a lot too. But AAU ball, I played AAU ball for my entire life. And it's helpful because it helps you learn a different style of the game, at least for basketball. I'm sure it is the same way for soccer or volleyball. But it's a different style of play. And so it helps you learn the game more, learn how to adapt to other players. But if you're in it year round, I don't know. It's a little more tough to progress in the game if you're playing AAU all year round because you're always gone. You're never home. You never have time to work on yourself.
Okay.
I would say rest is definitely important in that.
Sure. What do you ladies think?
I think my story is a little unique. I stopped playing club in 6th grade.
Okay.
So my whole middle school, high school, the only time I was playing my sport was in the spring.
In the season?
Yeah, at CBA. So then when you start playing collegiate and they give you this massive summer packet and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But it really is, you just have to.
Just tell me a little bit while we're on that summer packet. Sure. What's in that? What does that mean?
So at least for my team, every day, almost every day, you're expected to run, lift, and do technical. So last year they gave us set programs to do every day. And then this year they were like, we know that everyone's summer is unique, and so we want you to find what works for you and what you can truly progress in over the summer. And then at the end of every month, we turn in what we did, and they'll say, okay, like, good job, or add this, fix this. So for me personally, every day I do some type of running, whether that's distance running or sprint intervals. I make sure I get one of those in. I will lift 4 times a week, and then I do about 30 to 45 minutes of technical, which is like juggling, dribbling in between cones, different footwork, just to get better at that too. So that's what that looks like.
Okay.
But I will say, like, sport burnout is a real thing. You can, when you're doing it for hours and hours and hours a day for months, there's just a time when you're like, why am I doing this? And when that happens, you really have to take a minute and remind yourself, I do love this sport and I am doing this to get better. But it is a real thing that people struggle with. Yeah.
I think what I'm hearing is interesting because, kind of two different pathways. One was AAU the whole time, played, every season that was available in that kind of thing. And then another, once junior high hit, it was during the season was the time I played the sport. And the off season was used to maybe get better physically, but not necessarily by playing the sport and even by playing other sports, right? And so hearing both sides, that there's not one direct path that always works for everybody, that it's kind of can be unique to your personality, to your schedule, to your body even, what rest you need and that kind of thing. Sadie, what about you? What do you think about those other opportunities and what they look like?
So I grew up playing travel soccer and travel basketball throughout pretty much all of elementary. And then I also played travel. I got serious. I really did get serious in basketball around like 8th grade. And that's when I kind of made a shift from like soccer to basketball, because in elementary I was always like soccer. Like, I'm going to play soccer collegiately or whatever. But so I started getting serious in about basketball around 8th grade.
Okay. And
there are definitely a lot of unseen hours in the gym, and whether that's weightlifting or running or just shooting in the gym with like my dad or something, or but no, I think it's crucial to do more than just what's in season. Like, I think it's very beneficiary to not only for you, but also to help your team succeed if you get better throughout the off season. So it's really important.
Yeah, so you have to do something outside of the season. What it looks like may vary, and you have different, options and things. And a lot of that, every situation is different. So, what's available to you might be different. That may mean because of finances. It may mean because of schedules. If you're working, if you're a good student, you may not have as much time that is needed for homework. And if you're not, you may need more time so there's a lot of factors that, of course, have to be weighed into that, because if you're going to play collegiately, academics do have something to do with that. So tell me a little bit about that piece of the puzzle as you were looking at going into the collegiate level. What role did academics play, and how did you balance that? Because we call it student athletes because you're a student. And NCAA puts out all these commercials about, student athletes and their students first and all the accomplishments of student athletes, and they're all the accomplishments they do in the workplace, because most of them don't have careers in athletics afterwards. So they're highlighting the fact that they're students first, and that athletics are an avenue that they can use to get into the classroom perhaps, and for some of them get scholarships or things like that. So tell me a little bit about that balance, even in high school and into the next level at college. It's going to be similar. So we'll start with our high school recent graduates here. What did that look like for you as far as the athletic /academic balance?
It was tough. But one of the important things about when you sign up for a sport is learning how to organize your time well and manage it. So for me, you got school all day. Sometimes you got study halls. What's important is that you don't just mess around during study halls and you actually focus on getting all that work done because that's the time that you're given to do things.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Study hall for studying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then, like on bus rides to games. I know for basketball, we would travel to Tawa sometimes or Au Gray, and that's an hour to an hour and a half. And all you're doing is just sitting there. And one of the rules that
Really?
Okay. Well, like one of the rules that Calvary integrated was no phones on the bus.
Sure.
And so that helped me do my work on the way to the game because I wasn't being distracted by scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or who knows what, right? So I would say it's really helpful to use the time that you're given and to manage it well, because if you do, then you'll be just fine.
Okay. Sadie, what about you? Academics and athletics, that balance.
Yeah. So academics are definitely a huge part of school, obviously. And for me, I'm like a planner. Like I like to have things scheduled out. Just if I don't, sometimes it's hard for me to get it done if I don't fit it in and prioritize it correctly. So I really had to prioritize my academics, especially around sports and stuff, because I was constantly playing sports, year round and stuff. So it's important to not just push off academics, because sometimes, you'll have an away game or even a home game and you still have to study for a test or you still have homework you got to get done. Like the last thing you want to do after a game is just go sit and do homework, Yeah. So
we've had a number of students go off and play collegiately. And probably the biggest conversation I have with them when they come back is, and Isla, I want to hear from you on this a little bit, but they tell me that the biggest challenge they have playing athletics collegiately is they have less time for their studies. Mm-hmm. And they said they thought it was hard in high school, balancing homework and tests and papers and all of those due dates with the athletic calendar. And that's with the school setting trying to work together. Like, we don't typically have games during exam week or just things like of that nature. Right. Where at the collegiate level, that's not as much a consideration. Mm-hmm. The academic calendar is there and the professors do their thing. They're not looking at the basketball schedule or the soccer schedule or the playoff schedule. You're kind of on your own. And so it's interesting. I've talked to just a number at all different schools all over, and they would say that was the biggest, most abrupt change. And these were typically good students, but saying, man, I just don't have as much time as I thought I would have in order to prepare. How do you see that, Isla, now that you've been 1 year playing soccer and going to class?
Yeah, I mean, on the first day of class, for all of your classes, you're going to walk in and the teacher is going to give you this ginormous syllabus, and you're looking at it and you're like, there's no way that we're going to get through all this in one semester. There is a way. There is a will. There is a way. So there is so much work.
They've done this before.
Yes. Yes. And it really is. Your schedule is so packed. I mean, you're early for lifts, and then you're in classes all day. Then you're going to practice. Then it's dinner. And then you have this little chunk of time after that. You're probably not even starting until 8 o'clock, and you're expected to get everything done. And you're like,
when's social time?
Listen, you gotta, priorities.
Figure it out, huh?
If it's worth it, you make time.
Okay.
But yes, it really is. I would say, honestly, bus rides, like Braden was saying, are a huge part of it. I mean, because when you get into college, you're traveling, like your longest bus ride it's long. Like the typical travel time is probably about 7 hours. Yeah. So that's a long time in a bus. And so if you're just sitting there on your phone or sleeping, well, sleep is important, don't get me wrong. Sure. But if all that time is gone, then that's your day. Yeah. And then you get home from a game at 2 a.m. and you have a test the next day and you haven't even started studying for it. Then that's when it gets rough.
I think it's one of those things where the more you fill your schedule with, the more you have to be a planner. Like Sadie said, she's a planner. We'll find out here how much of a planner when I think the more you have to do, you realize you have more time than you thought you had because you have to be just smarter with it. Mm-hmm. And I know I do better when I have more things. I could have less things in a week, but I can then procrastinate and then they get pushed. But if I have it all to get done, then you just you get it done. You figure out the schedule and you make it work. And so then you find things like you said, a bus ride. That's time that I can use for this or whatever. So let's shift gears just a little bit and go kind of back to high school time and not think about the future as much as we'll think about the past. What are some highlights? No, I mean highlights like we won the district championship, right? We already talked about those accomplishments. But what are some highlights from athletics from your time at Calvary? What are some things that are some memories that you have that are fond memories of high school athletics, things around that? Isla, what would be a highlight or two for you, some fun things?
Let me think. Well, Sadie and I, we were kind of the dynamic duo on our soccer team for several years. I think every year we alternated with who let in assists and who let in goals.
Okay.
So we were sad when we didn't get to have one more season together, but I'll always look back on that. I would say volleyball seasons were always really, really fun for me just because it wasn't, I obviously took it seriously, but it wasn't as I need to be the best, I need to personally succeed. It was what can my team do more, which is a very good mentality. But
less pressure.
Yes. So I remember we always would go to a tournament in Tawas. I think we won 3 years in a row. And that I remember being such a huge thing because we're this little Christian school and we're just transferring into MHSAA and we're going to this tournament with all of these larger public schools.
Sure.
And we're winning every year. And so I always remember being we won.
Yeah, it's fun to be the underdog a little bit.
Yes.
And I don't think we're the underdog anymore.
Nope.
As far as, it's a surprise the first time, but then when it becomes regular, then they come prepared. Mm-hmm. So good. What about you, Sadie? What would you say?
I really liked all of the team bonding stuff we were able to do. We do dinners or movie nights or trips. This year we were able to go up to Traverse City for a tournament for soccer, and that was really fun. We got to shop and eat and, our two favorite things. So, those team bonding exercises, I guess it's really more just friends hanging out, but it was really fun.
Okay. Braden?
Yeah. So my favorite memory is probably junior year. We played Beaverton and Meridian back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday. And it was the first time we ever played both of those schools. And just like Isla was saying, we're this little Christian school, right? So they're coming into the mentality of we're going to blow them out of the water. And I remember walking in the gym and it was packed out. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. And we ended up beating both teams back to back. And it was cool to see the respect that we gained as a school and as players, as a coach. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, it's always fun. Winning is fun, but sometimes you learn the most during times of adversity. And so what would you say are some lessons you've learned through sports? Maybe it's around injuries. I know all of you have experienced some injuries. Isla's not the only one. Sadie, you've had surgery and had significant battles there. And Braden, you've had your share of injuries and such. And so tell me a little bit it doesn't have to be about injuries, but it can be injuries. It could be losses. It could be just struggles, seasons that weren't the greatest because you're not winning or whatnot. But what are some lessons that you've learned through sports, through your time of athletics? Sadie, what would you say are some of the lessons that stick out?
For me, especially after tearing my ACL, it was devastating, and it was obviously what none of us would have wanted or what we would have expected. But during that season, it kind of just helped me step back and realize the bigger picture of it's more than just basketball. I'm blessed to even be at the school. I'm blessed to hang out with these girls. So God really opened my eyes in knowing that He has a plan and a purpose for me, and life's more than just a little basketball season. So.
Yeah. Isla?
I kind of echo Sadie's. God's providence and God's goodness was made so evident to me when I tore my labrum because, here's a little timeline. So homecoming was Friday. I tore my labrum the next Monday.
Yeah.
And I find out, I'm having surgery again. and my senior soccer season is gone. And 2 days after I get that news, I get a call from the coach at Bob Jones saying, hey, we have a spot for you. We want you to come play on our team. And so then even seeing God's goodness in that timing of like, hey, you're at a really low point in your life, and let me just bring it right back up a little bit.
And he didn't pull the offer, right?
He didn't.
Like you probably wonder,
Yes.
is they going to say, well, let's wait and see?
Yes,
or
I remember being on the phone.
reevaluate
Yes,
afterwards?
I was on the phone and I'm like, hey, I do have to tell you, I'm having surgery in 2 weeks. And he was like, that's okay, work hard in physical therapy. I'm like, I will. But yes, God's goodness and his plan are so, so, so good and so much better than I could have ever imagined or picked for myself.
It's great.
Yeah.
Braden, what's a lesson you learned?
I mean, it's the same. It helps you learn patience, because, I mean, it's a game, right? So there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. And I know for basketball, we struggled a lot to get that win. And, so it helps build character, helps you lose, but like it helps you gain character in the way of you can lose with your head held high, because you did what you did what you could do, and you gave it your all, and that's all that really matters. And like they were saying, it's all part of God's plan, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. So
yeah. Well, it's always encouraging to kind of hear some of the stories from our students, whether it's a teacher and hearing some of the things that students learned while they were in their classrooms, as a coach or part of the athletic program, hearing the lessons learned there, and just as a school talking to graduates and what their years at Calvary prepared them for. But our goal through any of it is that you would grow in your relationship with the Lord, right? We're going to be cheering you on, and we want to see you guys succeed at the college level and wherever God takes you, and whether it's an athlete or not, whatever our students are doing, we want them to succeed. We want God's best for each one of them. But really, we're not cheering as much for just the athletic endeavors, but not to be, trite or whatever, sound too much of an allegory, but the game of life is what really matters. And that's what we want to see you guys win. And so if athletics helps with that and propels those growth areas in your life and teaches you those lessons, we think it can be a great thing. And that's why, in the gym there, it says, whose glory? God's glory. That whatever we do, it's all for God's glory, and the opportunities and abilities he gives us, we use to serve him. And that athletics is a great arena to learn lessons of life. It's a great arena and area for you to gain some skills of teamwork, of facing adversity, of not quitting, of working hard, and growing in character. And so all these things are taking place in athletics. And so that's why I'm thankful for the athletic program we have at Calvary. I'm thankful for you guys as student athletes. I'm a little surprised Braden didn't say one of his highlights was TPing the athletic director in his basketball coach's house.
Hey,
because I'm sure that's happened. Whether he denies it or not, I'm pretty confident that at least one of those times that Braden was involved. And so I just wanted to put that on video for, and that's a good springboard because what we're going to do next is we're going to transition. I'm going to have a conversation with that athletic director, with Mr. Small, and hear a little bit about his perspective of athletics at Calvary. But I thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully it's been fun. Isla says this is going to go viral. We're gonna get 1 million hits off this one. So
now everyone knows my secret.
Share, and subscribe.
I'll put that in one of the promos. I'll say, check out Braden's confession, right? Because you're confessing.
Yeah,
right?
Hey, watch out.
Right? We're confessing.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we got that on tape now, or I guess they don't call it, it's not really tape, but we always still use that term, right? It's on video. Folks, we're going to change it up a little bit after such a good conversation with our student athletes. We're going to split up this episode into part 1 and part 2. So you've just watched part 1 of our episode there, and we're going to have a part 2, as I mentioned in the already segue there. We're going to have a conversation with Mr. Joel Small, our athletic director, and that'll be part 2 of our podcast. So thanks for listening to the Lions Roar podcast, and thanks for learning a little bit more about athletics. We'll continue this conversation when we release part 2 of the conversation. And have a great day. God bless. We'll see you next time.